a very happy new year to the hundreds of you tuning in. Whether you are joining us from a chilly morning here in India or tuning in from Middle East, Southeast Asia or beyond, welcome to the first Illuminate by Meritto, the Student Enrollment Growth Masterclass of 2026. I'm Som and I'm genuinely excited to be kicking off the year with you all.
Absolutely. Hi everyone, I'm Ritika. It's great to be here. Som, usually the start of the year is when everyone is resetting. Every educational institution begins a new year with a common ambition to increase the student enrollment. It is a universal goal, and year after year, we see the teams put in tremendous effort to make that happen.
Tremendous. That is the right word, Ritika. Hi, folks. I'm Rishabh. When we look at what all you do, work is real and the effort is real. We see you refining campaigns constantly. We see you improving your follow ups. You are opt out there, strengthening counseling, deepening engagement, streamlining, and managing reporting, applications, and fees. It's a massive operational undertaking.
And for many of you here today, that effort has delivered results as well. We have looked at the numbers from 2025. Some of you hit your target squarely, some of you came very close. And now, because we have spoken, many of you, that some of you are now setting even ambitious goal for 2026.
Yeah, I think that's the spirit of this industry, I guess. But wherever you are on that spectrum, means basically maybe you have completely smashed your targets or maybe missed them by a hairline, you are actually in the right room today. Because what we have learned by working closely with various institutions over the last year, that is 2025, is this that enrollment growth today is no longer about doing more things.
That's a hard pivot for a lot of people to accept. So we are used to thinking more leads, more calls, more email, but the reality is different now. It's about focusing energy on the things that actually move the needle.
Yeah, spot on. I guess means both you and Ritika will definitely agree. And actually, today's masterclass is exactly about that only. So, what we are going to do is that we are going to discuss how to drive enrollment growth in 2026 with a focused, outcome-driven effort, backed by how educational landscape, let's say, has actually evolved over the past year, that is in 2025, and what Meritto has been building for it. So, now before we actually get into the complete feature and updates, I want to take a second and we can actually reflect on a few questions here. Like, for example, uh, as you can see, the first question is, are you attracting or prioritizing the right pipeline fast enough? Isn't it, Ritika?
Absolutely. And let's be clear, these are not trick questions, but they are actually critical. They are the kind of question that separates team that merely chase growth from team that actually control growth. To that, Rishabh, can you hop on to the next question?
Sure. So the next question is, are you guiding each prospect with relevance across the engagement channels or creating relevant journeys so they complete the application?
Or maybe it's like, are you kind of, just a minute. Yeah, so basically, as we were talking, means it's more also about that are you removing the friction between the fee intent, fee completion, enrollment confirmation, as reflected in the third question. So let's move on. So these are some of the questions that we'll be actually talking about in prospecting, personalization, and payments, as we have seen. So let's take a step back and look. Let's try to look at what high-performing institutions were doing differently in 2025. And through that, we can actually say that a clear pattern has emerged. It wasn't random, regardless of size, geography, or segment. It means the growth consistently came down to three focused areas.
Exactly so. The institution that grew predictably didn't try to fix everything at once. They strengthened how they handle their prospects, their personalization, and their payments.
Absolutely, Rishabh. Together, these form what we call the pre framework of predictable enrollment growth in 2026. And I want to emphasize this for everyone who's listening us right now that this framework is not just a theory, it's a practical way to understand where growth is actually decided inside the enrollment funnel.
And that brings us to means how we can make this three Ps work together. Because again, they actually don't work independently enough. So let's move on. So let's try to take this step by step. So let's start at the top. So as you can see at the top of the funnel, there is prospecting, which actually determines whether your pipeline is fast, qualified, and actionable, or maybe it is slow. So prospecting is not just about generating leads. It's also about controlling the pipeline quality and the speed. So if you get this wrong, then everything else also suffers.
Then you move to the middle. There is where personalization lies. It determines whether your inquiries actually turn into application. And the reason this is so important in 2026 is because it is relevant to engagement. It is where most of your funnel lies. You can't just talk at student anymore. You need to guide them as well.
And finally, in the final stretch, payments determines whether the intent becomes an enrollment quickly, confidently, and even without hesitation. So this is often the most overlooked yet the most important piece.
Yes, indeed. So from this, we can also have a key takeaway that enrollment growth does not break at one particular step. Okay. So if weakens, then one of these three systems isn't strong enough to carry the funnel forward. So strictly speaking, it is a combination of all these three things that makes the ultimate difference.
Absolutely, Som. So, in the rest of this masterclass, we'll unpack each one of these three P's. We'll look at what we have changed in 2025, at what high growth teams did differently, and how we can strengthen each one of them in 2026.
Yes. So moving on, let's dive into the first P, that is prospecting. So let's take a step back and talk about what prospecting really looks like inside an institution today.
It's usually a high volume game, so you capture lead continuously. They are coming in through multiple campaigns, your landing pages, referral partners. It's like a constant influx.
And once those enter to your system, they don't move forward on their own. They require work. They are followed up by the sales team. They are nurtured and counseled by the advisors. They are evaluated over time before they become the applications.
Hmm. But again, before any of that heavy lifting, I think, can work effectively, prospecting also has to get a few fundamental things right.
Absolutely, exactly. So first, the right counselor need to reach and receive the lead at the right time. There has to be a quick qualification, and the third and the most important one, the team needs to look at a structured and a clean view to see each and every lead of theirs.
So, Ritika, why is that structure view so important? So that prioritization and nurturing are based on context, not guesswork. Too many teams are still guessing.
Yeah. See, in fact, I think Meritto has always helped teams move fast with tools that actually enable quicker follow-ups and better data-informed decisions. No kind of guesswork here. But as enrollment operations scale, speed alone isn't going to be enough for anyone.
That is the actual shift for 2026. In 2026, strong prospecting requires system that thinks ahead, system that helps team to qualify faster, prioritize smarter, and route leads intelligently.
Yes. So as means we were talking about that, that's why over the last year we have tried to build dedicated prospecting capabilities in Meritto. So they are designed specifically to help teams build faster and better pipelines. And also we have noticed that we are designing them to let also AI handle the heavy lifting where it makes sense. So that counselors and others can actually focus on conversations and conversions that actually drive enrollment.
Thank you, Som. Now let's look at what we built to support exactly all of these.
Right, spot on, Rishabh. So we truly support it all. We realized that we had to start with Counselor Daily Command Center. So Merito has always built a system that allows the user to do better prospecting, but we wanted to give you total control over how your day looks like. So that's why we start at Calendar Pro.
That's a great starting point, Ritika, because usually a counselor's calendar is just a chaotic clutter of random tasks. It's hard to know what to do first.
Spot on. That's why the biggest update here is the new stage filter in Calendar Pro. In the past, a task was just a task, but now you can filter your entire day based on where the student is present in the funnel. So, just to give you all an example, if a counselor wants to see only the shortlisted candidates, or they want to work only on the students that are enrolled, or whether a lead is hot or untouched. So, for such a scenario, you can slice all of that down and prioritize that with the help of the new lead stage filter that we have introduced.
That is actually very, very huge for prioritization. But that again begets a question, Ritika, that what about kind of a repetitive task that we have? I know, means basically we all know that counselors often set weekly check-ins with high potential leads like hot and warm leads. But then after a while, they stop getting reminders.
We fixed that too, Som. We enhanced the logic of recurring notification. Previously, if we had a recurring event, it always used to be linked with a specific opportunity of yours. But now, with the notification being consistent, we have tightened the backend logic. Now, we have weekly recurring follow up linked with the student opportunity. So, every single time there's any event which is happening on the lead, you will be notified on time and you will not miss it even on a beat.
And so it's not just only about notifications. As you can see with Calendar Pro, you can now define events that perfectly fits to your organization needs. Whether it's a quick follow up or an open full day event, you can specify each and every detail using our custom event forms. You decide who manages the event and set the access permission. It's about taking the charge of your time so you can focus on the prospect, not the process.
Hmm. Interesting. A lot of things. So I think that Calendar Pro update is going to save a lot of time on scheduling events and calls. But again, once the counselor gets a student on the call or let's say phone, we run into the next big problem, that is the blind date problem.
The blinded problem. So that is the perfect way to describe it. And that brings us to that we have optimized the process of calling. Now we are optimizing the conversation as well. This feature is the missing link between the prospect and the sale. And we call this dynamic activity.
Oh my. I really love this one because I think it solves a very specific pain point. It's not just for students, it also kind of gives the counselor some superpowers. Am I right?
Exactly, Som. So, if we think about it in an old way, a lead fills up a form, a counselor calls them, and then the counselor asks, Hi, are you interested? And it is completely a cold call. They have zero context. So, they can't even know whether the students or the lead who has filled up the form is hot, cold, or is just browsing. So, they are just shooting in the dark. But what if the counselor knew that in just 10 minutes ago before they called, the student just filled up a form or maybe searched on the browser, or last night he downloaded the placement report, or maybe watched down the campus tour just prior to when they call them.
That changes the entire conversation, Ritika. It goes from a sales pitch to a consultative selling. You aren't asking that if they are interested, you are actually addressing that what they are interested in.
Precisely, Rishabh, it turns the platform into a complete storybook if you look at it in that way. Because dynamic activity, we are bringing each and every external activity which is done by your student out of Meritto's system, and it gives your team that whole unified view to nurture smarter, convert faster, and whether a student is visiting your website or they are downloading something or they are present on a third party tool altogether, you can know about all of that interaction in just one particular place.
So means through all these interactions that I can infer is that we are finally moving beyond that just having an email sent or making a call, right?
Far beyond, so far beyond, because from website clicks, app downloads, and course progress to webinar attended and XYZ, you define which activities matter the most to you. You capture them, you see them logged, you tie them together, and boom, it's right there in front of your CRM. We have introduced even dynamic activity visibility in Lead Manager so that the counselor, when open up a student profile, they can see all the activity in the chronological order in the proper digital footprint right in front of their contact info.
Well, that actually ensures your team always know that what happened, when, and making every conversation timely and relevant.
And we didn't stop at the desktop. We knew counselors are often on the move, when they might attend educational fair, they're on the campus walks, or they are attending some seminar. So we launched dynamic activity even for the mobile version.
So, is this for the field teams? I mean, the kind of dynamic activity that we have on the mobile app?
Yes, we have introduced the dynamic activity module in mobile app so that the users can add, edit, view activities on the go. And at the same time, you can just imagine a scenario. So basically, a counselor is standing at a chaotic education fair, and a student just walks up to them, and they just need to open up their profile instantly and say, "Oh, the student downloaded the scholarship guide yesterday." So I'm not supposed to make a generic pitch as a counselor. What I preferably would say is, hey, I see you're interested in scholarship, let me walk you through that particular merit based option. So it becomes more customized when a counselor is making a pitch.
And I believe that is how you close the deals in 2026. You remove the dependency on the web interface and give them the intel right in their head.
Absolutely. So we have organized the schedule with Calendar Pro. We have enriched the conversation with dynamic activity. And then there's one more layer to prospecting. Sometimes the best way to handle a high volume of lead isn't just humans.
Yeah. Also, I love that mobile update because I think that was very, very huge for the field teams. But again, once that conversation goes well, whether it's at a kind of a education fair or over the phone, things definitely get complicated afterwards. For many institutions, the student isn't just a lead for one thing anymore. They might be an applicant for an MBA, maybe an inquiry for a hostel room, or maybe be even a registrant for a webinar, or maybe in a short-term certificate course. Means everything at the same time.
Exactly, so that's the classic for multiple opportunity problem. In most of the legacy system, you have to create duplicate leads, or if I may say, you have to append the data which is present in your old leads, which will completely lose the history of how your lead initially came into the system. So that is why to strengthen the prospecting, we had to rethink how we are supposed to manage such parallel journey. So we had to level up the opportunity manager that we have across various three pillars, I'll say: customization, reporting, and automation. So, first, let's talk about the custom tabs in opportunity profile. We realize that the data you need is, example, if I give you an example, is hostel inquiry or admission application. So you don't need room preferences for a course application, right? Or now if you create a custom tag, so basically you would need only specific information for an opportunity that you're searching for. So now you can create custom tabs for each specific opportunity type that you have. You can give a dedicated tab to that. So to give an example, hostel inquiry can be a different tab, admission application could be a different tab. So now you can have all of that in your main profile in a decluttered and in a clear manner so that you can only see the information that actually matters the most to you.
That's a massive relief for the ops team, I believe, handling thousands of records, and they hate scrolling through empty fields.
Exactly, and speed is everything for them. That is why we introduced bulk opportunity create and update API. Previously, syncing the data was a hectic task. You have to either connect to a third party application system. It used to take hours of the day, right? So now you can create and update thousands of student opportunity in just minutes using the API that we have introduced.
This actually means really looks great for the tech team. But again, a lot of questions here. But Ritika, what about the leadership teams? They also kind of, after having all this data into the system, they will definitely be requiring a kind of a visibility as to how these data are managed.
That's the third pillar, which is reporting. We've made every single metric of your opportunity field into the reports that are visible. You don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to pull reports that say, show me all the students who are enrolled or show me all the students who are pending for admission. All the granular visibility is there present in your reports as a primary source for you to track down.
So means basically, essentially, we are keeping the lead data, that is what they are and who they are, and the opportunity data, that is what they want to do, like purchase some course or something, perfectly in sync. Means it's completely synchronized automatically in the CRM, right?
Exactly, no duplicate leads, no more lost context, just one student with multiple defined paths to enrollment, and clarity is what automates to the next step effectively.
Okay, thanks. This was really interesting, actually. So, looking at this, we have streamlined the human side of prospecting with Calendar Pro, as discussed before, an opportunity manager. We have given them the best tools to manage complexity. But again, let's come to the real scenario here. Even the most efficient human team has their own limits. There is a kind of a roof or a ceiling on how many calls you can make, how many students you can engage and convert, and how many chats you can handle at nights.
Absolutely. So, I guess that's the scale problem that we are talking about constantly. So,
Yeah, and that is what brings us to the biggest shift of the year. See, if 2025 was the year of exploring agentic AI, testing the waters and seeing what's actually possible, then 2026 is the year of delivering with it. Okay, sorry, 2025 was the year of exploring. So 2026 is actually the year of delivering it. We are moving past the hype cycle. We aren't just building some kind of cool technology here. We're actually building capable systems that do the work when you come.
So I think it's important to clarify that we are just talking about another chatbot, right? Because our clients are tired of dumb bots.
Yes, exactly, Rishabh. I understand that. And that is why we have actually introduced a complete multi-channel AI ecosystem. So, see, means for years, software has been regarded as just as a tool, like kind of a hammer that you pick up that does a specific job. But again, Neo AI is not a tool. It has to be seen through the lens of a teammate. It is an autonomous agent that understands the goals, creates a plan, and executes it both across the chat and voice interface.
so Som, let's just pause on autonomy for a second. Operationally, what does actually it means for a team? Like, how does it come into play, or how is it different for managed automation that we already have at Meritto?
Great question, Ritika. I think I will try to explain it with an example here. So let's consider automation, which is nothing but a cruise control mode in a car. So it can maintain the speed. Okay. But if there is a kind of an obstruction or a wall ahead, it might crash because it is actually just following a rigid script of maintaining the speed. But talking about Mio AI, agentic AI here, it's like an autonomous self-driving car. It actually sees the wall. In fact, it plans a route around it and keeps the car going. So talking about in the CRM perspective and context, if a student is asking a complex question like, can I get a scholarship if I'm from Delhi? Then maybe a traditional chatbot might break. Okay, but again, with help of the agentic AI, that is Mu AI, it can actually understand the intent here. It will check all your relevant policy documents that you have uploaded, finds that specific Delhi region fees waiver document or answer, and then augments and answers it accurately for that particular lead. So basically, it plans the path to the answer.
And it's doing this across channels, right?
Yes. In fact, we have both Mio Chat, that is what we call as Mio Guide for text, and Mio Voice for calling. And Rishabh, before you ask that, is Mio Voice a robo dialer? No, it's definitely not. It's not even an IVR blasting mechanism that tells you to press one and then move ahead. No, it's nothing like that of that sort. It actually is listening to you. Okay, so it also handles noise, it handles interruptions. It's just like a natural two-way conversation that actually feels human. So the basic idea that as I described, it tries to personalize context, understands intent, changes its conversation flow as the call progresses based on real-time analysis.
That is a massive relief for the counselors, I believe, Som. It means that they aren't just spending their whole day dialing 500 cold calls number just to hang up. The AI actually takes the grunt work and gives them the qualified lead, right, Som?
Yes, doing the grunt work. Now, let's first just focus on Mio Guide, that is our text chatbot. So Mio guys again is not just a generic chatbot as we have discussed again. It's an agent. So we have specialized into two distinct avatars to cover the full student journey. First, we have the Mio Web, which is nothing but the agentic AI that you can place it on your website. This is like kind of a frontline sales representative. It actually lives on your public website, and its job is to capture the lead, answer those initial FAQs like accommodation, course, programs, fees, etc., and get them into the lead funnel.
Basically, it's guardians at the gate.
Yeah, nice connotation there, Rishabh. Correct. But we also have another part here, that is the Mio SAP, which is nothing but the Mio guide living in your student application portal. So as means it's kind of a self-explanatory, means basically it lives inside the application portal where leads manage their application details.
Oh, this is actually very critical. So, you know that data. So many students start their application, they fill in their names, they drop off at the upload document stage or maybe course selection stage because they, get confused throughout that journey.
Yeah, means definitely means as a student or as a lead, when I'm trying to fill up an application, then definitely there are some kind of clarifications, questions, or queries that I have on my mind. And I might pause because I don't know what to do next. And I may not be able to reach the counselor again. So here in this case, if you have a query, you can just go on to your application portal, trigger up the Mio AI agent that is on the SAP, and then ask the queries. And it will actually guide you through all that clarification points while you are applying.
That's huge for my side of house too. Payments. If they get stuck at the payment gateway, Neos app can explain the EMI options from the document right there. It's converting the intent into the action on a real time basis.
Yeah, means basically it is covering all the aspects here. So that is how you actually judge and gauge the power of having a teammate, not having a tool. You are having a teammate here. So it's there when the student needs it, whether it is on the website or whether it's inside the student application portal, so that it ensures that nobody actually falls through that cracks, means there is no leakage here.
That AI capability with Neo Guide and Neo SAP is going to change the game for the scale. You are going to get more qualified leads than ever before. But yeah, Ritika, we know the reality. Once Neo captures those thousands of the leads, they land right back in the lap of your operations team. If that backend is messy, even the best AI can't save you. You just have high speed chaos.
You are absolutely right, Rishabh. AI is the accelerator, but operations team is still the steering wheel. That brings us to this. We have built a suite of features to ensure that we all scale up. We don't just lose control. We call it the operational backbone.
Yeah, definitely means whether it's the counseling team, whether it's the operations team handling all the things, definitely it's very important. And definitely I'm so excited to hear about it.
It is. And let's just start with the most fundamental problem, which is organizing the source. Marketing teams, their most important pain that we see is the reports, right? We see Facebook ads, social FB, Meta campaign. So they are all different sources. It's just a nightmare to clean up. With campaign grouping, we fix this. Now you can label and bundle these different sources at just one umbrella on the real time basis. So let's suppose if you want to group together Instagram, LinkedIn, and any other social media platform, so you can create one single bucket of it, which is social media 2026. And instantly, all of those campaigns or the sources which are under that particular umbrella will fall under this particular bucket. So no dependency on support and just instant clarity.
That is a dream for attribution reporting. Finally, finance and marketing, they can see the true ROI without spending hours manually cleaning the Excel sheets at the end of the month.
Exactly. And to keep that data clean from the very first second, we added field default values. So when you use a landing page or a widget, you don't have to rely on the student to tell you where they came from, or let's suppose where this campaign is set for explicitly. Now you can set the field in the autofill in the background, which is hidden. It's in the backend. So for example, you can auto assign a campaign name named as Winter 2026, and all of those leads who are coming through that campaign will by default have that value present in your lead profile, so that it ensures that each and every lead is correctly tagged in the system without a manual effort interfering in between. So now let's also talk about workforce management that has made a huge, change into the enterprise client, and it is one of the most requested features as well. So we have introduced the shift hours and auto check-in, auto checkout. So in a global system like Meritto, right, we have, or even if we talk about different institutions, we have them sitting up in Dubai, Delhi, and Malaysia, right? And their working hours are very different. And so let's suppose if I'm sitting in India, my of course the work hours is not aligned with the ones that are sitting in Dubai. So just to cater to this requirement and to be as a lifesaver, and to talk about it in depth, if a counselor, let's suppose, just logs out at 6 p.m., but you want it to be tracked into the system, so you can automatically check that particular counselor out of your system using the business hours.
Hmm. That is brilliant. So basically, I can see that no more leads will be assigned to a counselor if they are not present, right? Through auto checkout feature.
Exactly, so it prevents the painful lead leakage where hot leads sits touched throughout the night, and it also keep your turnaround tag very tight and your distribution logic just perfectly fine. Now, one more update that I'm really excited about is the reimagined student journey. We realized that the old lead status dropdown was too rigid, right? You had just open or closed or the default values that all of us have. Now, each and every institution that is linked with Meritto can now visualize the conversion journey on their own, the way that they like, and as per the customer journey that they have at their end. So, let's talk about an actual process. If there's an institution who has, a doc verify as a process, or we talk about fee negotiation in progress or campus visited. So all of these custom tags or custom journeys, if I may say, can be made now within your system without having the system default fields that we had at Meritto. Now, to support this complex journey, we launched even a centralized note.
So the context switching killer, I guess.
Yes, so no more digging through the tabs. Whatever you talked with the lead, whatever information that you had with the lead from the lead turning into the application, all of that is present in one continuous thread, and you can see it in one glance in one go.
Yeah, great.
So the context is vital. It means that anyone picking up the phone, if even if it's a new counselor, knows exactly what happened yesterday. They aren't asking to the student to repeat themselves.
100%. And finally, for the admins who can sleep better at night, the audit trail. So we have made every change traceable. So let's suppose if your counselor had made a particular change in a field and you want to check who did that change and at what time, so you can actually get all of that details present within the timeline of your lead. So just to give an example, if a student scholarship was changed from 10% to 50%, so you can exactly know who made that change and at what time, and that actually brings the total accountability to the system.
Yeah, so essentially, Ritika, you have turned the backend into a kind of a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you are removing the clutter so that a team can actually focus on better counseling.
Yeah, that's right. The goal was very clear to us: clean data, effective teams, and total visibility.
Great. So I can see that there are some kind of Q&As popping up. Great. I mean, it's good to see a lot of questions and answers. Please, means just try to, if you have any particular doubt regarding any kind of feature, just feel free to post your question. We'll be happy to answer them at the end.
I guess so. We have like two questions with us. We can take them up meanwhile. So, the very first question that I can see is: can this new AI handle WhatsApp message? It has been asked while you were explaining the slide. So, can this new AI handle WhatsApp messages, so?
Yeah, so this is the particular feature that has actually been requested and it is actually uh, in development. So definitely in the future in release, we'll be definitely be bringing out Mio WhatsApp, whereby you can actually have a website chat and as well as a Mio agent inside your WhatsApp business also.
Okay, and the next question that we have is, will we be getting this PPT? Siddhant, yes, you will be getting this PPT. I'll ask the marketing team. And meanwhile, you can feel free to ask any question that you have regarding this session.
Okay, I guess we can move on. Definitely means more questions will be popping up, then definitely we'll be answering that. Okay, so Ritika, as we were talking that the uh, operational backbone is exactly what the teams needed, right? Clean data, effective teams, efficient shifts are actually the core foundation here. But once you have the complete prospects and house in order, you also need to talk to the guests. So that brings us to the second P that we have been talking about, and that is personalization.
Absolutely. And so let's be honest, in our industry, personalization is a buzzword, that gets abused a lot of time. Most of the people think that it just mean putting the first name in the email subject line.
The dear applicant strategy. That is
Yeah, yeah,
putting tech.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So, exactly, the real personalization in 2026 isn't just about greeting them, it's about guiding them forward. It's about moving them through the generic apply now blast to guided journey. So, if a student is stuck on the fee page, you don't send them browser about the library, you send them to the fee structure at that time.
yeah, that requires actual complete context here.
Right. So let's say if I'm a counselor, I can't guide a student if I'm flying blind. I need to know, did they visit the hostel page yesterday? Are their docs verified? If I call them the pitch library when they are worried about the accommodation, I've lost them.
Precisely, Rishabh, you need to connect them through the inside activity, that is, just to give an example, application status, with the outside activity, that is their website visit, so that the context turns from cold call to a relevant conversation between the counselor and the lead that you're nurturing.
But Ritika, the challenge is always scale. So, like doing this for 10 students is easy. How do you do it for, let's say, 50,000 students without hiring an army?
Uh, that's the key actually here. That is scalable relevance.
Exactly. You need automation that watches the student 24 by 7. When they take an action, the system should instantly trigger a right nudge alert, maybe to the counselor, so that they don't have to wait till the lead is right there in front of the system. And so that, they can push them forward into the journey automatically.
Yes. So, so we definitely agree on this part that scalable relevance, that the term that I have been using, is actually the core. So, but again, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Practically, if I have to see, how do you deliver that relevance when your email tool doesn't talk to your SMS tool? Means basically both are independent of each other. Or maybe your calling data is stuck on a counselor's personal phone.
You simply can't. This is a fragmented stack nightmare that so many institutions live in. And you end up in a very embarrassing situation where you send an apply now email to the student who have already told you that they are not interested. So it makes a very, disorganized and disconnected reputation of the institution as well.
Exactly, means it can actually break trust also. And to fix personalization, we first had to fix the infrastructure. So that is why we have built a unified communication suite. If you look at the screen, you will see that the complete circle of engagement, that is marketing automation, push notifications, voicing, email, SMS, WhatsApp, Amplify, and even our AI agents with Mio. All of these channels are seamlessly integrated into one single platform, and that is our Meritto CR.
That one platform part is critical. So it means the left hand finally knows that what my right hand is doing.
Precisely. It is also powered, see, some of them are powered by AI intelligence. So definitely it learns from every interaction across every channel. And operationally, it's powered by METS. That is what we call our unified credit system. You aren't juggling five different vendor bills or running out of SMS credits while having surplus WhatsApp budget. You have one wallet giving you the total complete freedom to switch channels instantly based on what works.
That is what allows us to nurture smarter. You can start a conversation on WhatsApp, nudge them through an SMS. If they don't reply, you are close to call them, while all maintaining one single unbroken thread of contact.
Yes. So as I was talking, we do have WhatsApp. So I want to just, focus more on that because as we know, lot means there are more than 800 million users in India who you actually use WhatsApp, but very few use it well actually. Most institutions may actually use a standalone WhatsApp tool. So it is essentially, it's not that actually great. You send a message, you get a reply, that's it, completely transactional.
Right, look at the example on the left of your screen. This represents that standalone world. The system sends a generic message: Hi Som, please fill out the feedback form for yesterday's webinar. It feels very robotic. Crucially, it ignores the fact that Som might not have even attended the webinar. Sending a feedback form to an absentee is completely a disaster.
Yeah, but then let's consider the phone that you have on the right on the slide. This is actually the Meritto's integrated WhatsApp business API. It's tightly integrated and connected to the CRM. And because it is connected, it has context. It has relevance. It knows that, let's say, Muskan registered but didn't show up. So instead, it can say, Hi, Muskan, we noticed you missed our Marketing 101 webinar yesterday. We missed you. Here is a quick recap recording so you can catch up.
So I believe that is a massive difference. In the first scenario, you are just asking for the data. And in the second, you are actually delivering value based on our actual behavior.
Exactly. It ensures every chat is powered by complete student context, right from your CRM. Every reply feels personal, and crucially, every message is driving some kind of call to action behavior here. So that is what turns WhatsApp from a notification channel into a conversion channel. So we have talked about WhatsApp. Now, like we had previously discussed, we had Mio Guide, that is our text-based thing. Also, we have Mio Voice. So basically, we have conquered text and chat. Now we want to focus on what actually is more actually used, right? Means basically voice is something that is very much used here. Means you cannot just expect that you can close a deal or an application or convert someone just through text-based formats. No, you need to talk to the candidate. You need to actually, kind of engage with the lead personally through voice. Means you can send 1 million emails with a click, but you cannot make 1 million calls. Definitely.
True, and the counselors burn out trying, asking a human to dial 100 numbers just to hear not interested, wrong number. 80 time is demoralizing. It destroys their energy even for the good calls.
That is why we have this next innovation that is my favorite, and that is Mio AI Voice. This isn't just a dialer. This is an education-ready voice agent designed to automate human-like conversation at scale. So let's walk through it, means how this actually tries to change the workflow. So basically, you can centralize, you can have 10,000 raw leads sitting in your CRM. Let's say, for example, you select those CRM, you select those leads, and you actually, push them into a campaign. And that campaign is actually being driven by a specific agent. Let's say the qualification agent, or let's say even the reactivation agent for your cold leads or old leads. So this Mio agent calls them, and this is the important key that it can do this 24/7. It speaks in a natural human-like voice. It handles multiple languages like Hindi, English, or maybe even regional voices or accents effortlessly. In fact, I want to talk about this is that we do have an upcoming webinar on Mio Voice where we'll be explaining to you in complete detail as to how Mio Voice end-to-end functions with complete capabilities. The webinar is actually scheduled for 22nd January, so I will definitely say stay tuned for it.
Even I'll block my calendar so. So
Huh.
it's not just reading a generic script, right?
No, no, no. Again, that's what the agentic part is. It's actually reading the full lead journey from the CRM before it actually dies. So let's say if the lead is like so me, and I applied for an MBA but dropped off at payment, Mio, we can actually pass that information right from the CRM, and so Mio knows, and it won't ask that what course do you want. It asks intent-based questions like, Hi, so I saw you started your MBA application. but you stopped at the payment page. Is there any kind of issue that you're facing that I can help you with, or something like that?
So this is actually incredible context, Som. But what actually happens after a call? There's my team who usually struggle with updating the data manually, right?
Yeah, so we do have a magic pill for that as well. So
Mhm.
looking at the post-call actions, Mio has this capability that it can automatically update the data into the CRM. For example, we can actually have a lead stage where it actually captures based on whether that particular lead, based on the conversation and real-time analysis, it can actually determine that whether this particular lead is qualified or unqualified. So if I say yes, then definitely during a conversation and it feels that yes, it is actually a strong lead, then definitely updates the disposition fields. It can even save a full call recording and also the transcript attached with my profile. Plus, it also gives you a kind of a quality score, means how was the quality of that particular lead's conversation, and also the sentiment analysis. So was this particular student angry, or whether he or she was excited, confused? You completely get that data instantly.
That is incredible ROI. So you are effectively using AI to filter out the noise. So your human counselors only talk to the students who are actually ready to enroll.
Exactly. And because this is a personalized nurturing at scale, which was definitely previously not that easy before. So basically, you are trying to clone your best pitch and delivering it to thousands of students simultaneously. But again, talking about voice AI is one thing, hearing it is another. So I think we can have a short demo of Neo AI voice in action so that you can actually hear the difference yourself.
Hello, I am Ria calling from PU University. Am I speaking with Rashi? Yes, you are. Thank you, Rashi. I see you are interested in the data science program. Before I continue, may I know your total percentage in class 12th and your current city? Yeah, my total percentage was around 94% in 12th, and I am currently living in Dehradun. Thank you for sharing your marks and city, Rashi. With 94%, you are eligible for the data science program. This is a 4-year program with 8 semesters focused on building strong basics in data science and programming. To proceed, you will need to entrance test. How would you like to take the test? Online or offline? I would like to take an online test, but I do not have a laptop. Can I give the test through a phone or a tablet? For the online test, you can use a laptop, desktop, or tablet with a stable internet connection. A phone is generally not recommended for the exam. The online exam will be held from 10th January 2026 to 5th February 26. The results will be announced on 12th of February 26. Now, will you require hostel accommodation during your studies? Yes, I would need that. Can you please give me some information around the hostels and the facilities it offers? Offers comfortable residential facilities with a standard hostel fee of around 1 lakh rupees per year. This generally includes room accommodation, high-speed Wi-Fi, electricity, 24/7 water supply, and basic maintenance and safety services for the full academic year. Would you like to know more details about the hostel fees and other services? Yeah, in the hostel fees, does the food also inclusive or not? The hostel fee does not include food. The mess charges are separate, around 42,000 rupees per year, covering 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Would you like to know about laundry services or any other hostel details? No, that's it. I want to know about the fee details and the scholarship. The base fee for the data science program is 2 lakh rupees per semester without any scholarship. Since your class 12th percentage is 94, you are eligible for a 20% scholarship. This reduces your fee to 1,60,000 rupees per semester. Would you like to know anything else about the admission process or scholarships? Is it just my 12th class person that matters for scholarship, or is it anything related to this course as well? Your class 12th percentage makes you directly eligible for a 20% scholarship. Additionally, your scholarship amount can also improve based on your nest card score after you take the exam. Would you like to know more about how the nest score affects scholarship? No, that's it from my end. Thank you so much for the help. Thank you for your time, Rashi. Goodbye and all the best for your admission process.
That was an incredible demo of Mio voice. Seeing an AI handle a conversation with that level of nuisance is exactly what we call it, a teammate, not a tool. But Ritika, Som, for any of this to work reliably at scale, you need a powerhouse engine running underneath. You need infrastructure that builds, doesn't support growth, but actively accelerates it.
Absolutely. We've shown the flashy front end. Now let's open the hood and look at the engine. This slide is about platform upgrades that bind everything together.
Yeah, Rishabh, you can, I guess, move to the next slide. Yeah. So we have been talking a lot. So let's start with the channel that powers 90% of student engagement, and that is WhatsApp. So we didn't just add new few features here. We actually built a complete WhatsApp suite ecosystem directly integrated with Meta. First for the admins management. So in the past, onboarding a WhatsApp business account was very painful. It was a multi-step process that took sometimes weeks involving third-party vendors. So now Meritto has now been officially recognized as a Meta Tech partner. So now we have an inbuilt direct Meta integration right in our Meritto CRM. So you can actually just onboard within minutes, right from your CRM with an embedded signup. So you can actually view all your WhatsApp business numbers, their quality ratings, their messaging limits in one complete listing, create message templates easily, and even, of course, do bulk communication.
That speed is crucial. But Som, what about the types of messages? We used to be limited to just marketing.
Great point, Rishabh. We are actually using marketing and utility. But then that's the second big shift. We also introduced the WhatsApp authentication templates. So you know the pain, right? When a student tries to log in and the SMS OTP is delayed, they
Right.
kind of might get dropped off, right? So now you can actually use authentication templates to send secure one-time passwords for login, mobile verification, etc.
Yeah, and what about the utility template, Som?
Well, see, we already had utility templates, but also utility templates bridge the gap for transactional updates. You can send critical messages like registration confirmed, payment received, or credential verification on WhatsApp. Okay, so it effectively merges the reliability of SMS with engagement of WhatsApp. And to keep you in control, we also added WhatsApp notification updates. That is, counselors should not have to log in into a separate Meta portal to check if their template was rejected. Now you get real-time alerts via email and in-app notifications if a template status is changing, right? Like for example, if that template status was in pending stage, then it might get approved or rejected. Then you get real-time notifications about that. Or maybe your phone number's limit has also changed, right? It has increased or decreased. Then that is a notification that you can also receive, right? You don't have to log into your Meritto portal every time just to check that a particular template or even the Meta portal. It's completely proactive monitoring. Now, I think we can also talk about making the system more smarter. So we do have our own marketing automation engine. And with that, we have also introduced a certain degree of math capabilities. So what we're talking about is the field calculations. So previously, our automated automation nodes could only support, entering certain data or like some kind of conditions that you have. You are just specifying what kind of uh, means conditions that you have, just inputting the data on which the conditions could match, or you can set up your workflow. Now they can also compute using simple formulas that can actually be also used inside conditions. So you can build formulas right inside the workflow. For example, take the tuition fee, subtract some particular number, and then based on that particular condition, if that particular condition is being met or that workflow is there, then automatically update your fee. So this kind of mathematical capabilities have been introduced in automation.
So I believe field calculations, that is a lifesaver for many teams. It eliminates the manual calculation errors and ensures that workflow is driven through proper system logics and even the math rules for accuracy.
Exactly. And while the system is calculating, it is also communicating better internally. So we have also upgraded the notify users action now. Ritika, I think this was a very big ask from your clients, right?
Huge. So opportunity updates highly relied on manual follow-ups or delayed communications, which could lead to lead missed action or reduce visibility for the counselors. With this particular update, user can now automatically notify the relevant counselor during the opportunity creation, field updates, activity-based trigger. This enhancement ensured that the counselors are notified on time using the existing opportunity email template. This actually maintained the consistency in the communication via the email using the existing template that we had, and it also ensured the high priority event happened, like fee payment, so that the counselor can know instantly.
Yeah. And also, I want to also add into this particular automation context is that we do also have Mio activity trigger, that is the Mio voice activity trigger in our workflow automation that you can actually use to actually automate your Mio voice calling. So, finally, to keep your, kind of sales team agile, you have also extended the power of Zinc, our native notification engine that we have in Meritto CRM, and we have expanded it to cover every channel that you work on. That is whether it is browser, whether it is on-site, email, and now fully for mobile apps also for both Android and iOS. With more triggers available, you can now get notified on everything from lead assignments and stage updates to critical moments like registration attempts. So basically, it ensures that you get instant updates wherever you are, so you never miss an opportunity to convert them faster.
That's actually very interesting, Som. What else is there in the store for all of us?
Well, running all these channels that we have been talking about, like SMS, WhatsApp, email, voice, and everything, it requires fuel. And that's why we built METS, that is the Meritto Engagement and Transactional System. It's a unified credit system that we talked about. You don't need separate purchase orders for SMS and WhatsApp anymore. It's a centralized purchase system where you can actually, just have a complete ledger-like report as to how your credits are getting managed. Okay, means what kind of top-ups that you have done, what are the kind of deductions or any kind of things that you have. So you can just have a complete look and glance at one particular single section. So you recharge once and you can use that balance across that channel.
That flexibility is the key for budget management for anyone sitting there in the finance team.
Yeah, it is. And we also gave you more control. I also wanted to talk about this SMS. So we have this SMS delivery. So now you can have credit balance alerts that getting notified when you hit 70% usage or drop below a certain credit limit. Plus, you also have this stop transactional SMS button or configuration. So if you want to stop your transactional SMS temporarily, or if you need to save your credits for a critical promotional blast, you can do this easily. So basically, you are in the driver's seat of your budget. And finally, Ritika, I think I want it to bring all of these things that we have discussed till now to the ground level. Basically I want to understand the tools that help the team move fast.
Yes, we have to mention Doc Verify and App Telephony. Doc Verify is the gatekeeper. So it brings that very crucial process of each and every higher education that they have at their end. That is, if the counselor wants to verify the very critical documents that have been uploaded by applicant, and I believe this is a feature that can be used by each and every higher ed who has Meritto onboarded as their partners. So this is a very critical multi-approval process feature that we have built, wherein the counselor can view the documents that are uploaded by the applicant and can verify on real-time basis are approved or rejected. Coming next, we have app telephony that brings us to one-click calling to the mobile app. A single click on the lead number can help you trigger the call directly to the mobile number of the lead and automatically logs the call and all of the information into the CRM.
Really interesting updates. And also, I have one final thing for the marketers, and that is the meta ad enrollment tracking. So basically, what is it? It's very simple, is that you can now track enrollments along with leads for meta campaigns. So basically, you're trying to close the complete loop on ROI. So I guess looking back, we have covered a lot of ground here, from doing maths and automation to securing logins with WhatsApp OTP. So this is a technology backbone that we're talking about. And this is what makes the 2026 enrollment engine possible. So let's move on now. And now let's come to the most interesting part, I guess. Looking at where we are, we have captured the lead with strong prospecting capabilities. We have also engaged them with AI, dynamic personalizations, and opportunities. And they have also invested a lot of time, effort, and intent into the application. But what's next? And for this, we have what we call as a final P, and that is payments.
Absolutely. This is the final huddle. And honestly, this is where we see so much enrollment momentum happen. It's just like it stop here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stopping there, because this is a very crucial moment. It's quite true that by the time a student reaches this stage, a lot has actually already gone right, right?
Right.
You have attracted the right prospect, you have guided them perfectly, and yet this is where enrollment often slows down.
And so there is a very specific reason for that. We tend to think of payments as just a financial transaction, but for a payment, payments are just not a financial setup. They are the decision movement.
That is such a critical distinction that you have pointed out, Rishabh. That is like a true line or the moment of commitment that we all see. And when we see back at our families, also, we see our parents making that huge decision whether we are supposed to take this as a final moment of decision or not.
Exactly, Ritika. So in 2026, a strong payment system is just not about collecting fees money faster. It's about removing the hesitation at the moment of the commitment.
Hmm. But I guess, Rishabh, looking with your experience, you definitely work with a lot of finance heads and teams constantly, right? So, means I wanted to really understand that what are the things that they are expecting from this?
So honestly, students and parents today accept just three simple things. First, they want flexibility in how you want to pay, how they want to pay. Second, they need absolute clarity on what they are paying, no hidden fees, no confusing breakdowns. And third, they need a confidence that the process is secure, transparent, and seamless.
So, yeah, means basically, let's say if I'm going on a payment link, or
Mhm.
maybe during the transaction itself, the server times out, or maybe the payment link itself looks suspicious, I definitely have my confidence to the complete ground. It goes away constantly.
Definitely so. But we also have to look at the institution side. So for the finance teams listening, it is actually critical to have a clear visibility into paid, pending, and the upcoming fees. They need a faster reconciliation, a reliable integration with their core system. So they just want a very simple report. How much total allocated amount I want to collect within a session from a set of candidates, how much they have paid till now, whatever is due, and further any custom reports in terms of my finance.
Absolutely. I 100% agree on this. We have seen so many times that, marketing brings the student to the door, put the payment data in fragmented, and when payments are fragmented, enrollment confirmation also get delayed, and it seems very shattered. But when the payments are smooth, enrollment feels more complete and more hassle free.
Correct.
Yes. And this is also a kind of a reason why we see payments as the closing loop of our 3P framework. You just have to think about like this, that prospecting is, of course, bringing the right student, personalization is moving them forward, but payments is where the intent finally turns into that golden word, that is enrollment.
Right. So, and that is why over the last year, we focused on building multiple payment capabilities to reduce that friction, increase flexibility, and even bring confidence to this final step for both student as well as the institutions.
Hmm. So I guess we can now look at exactly what we have built in order to support all these things.
That's right. And that's why we have with Calexo. And this year, we went big on features to solve those real time problems of the cash flows. So, first, and this is a game changer, Calexo EMI. Education is expensive. We all know that. Often a parent wants to admit their child, but paying 2 lakhs upfront is the hard. So they sit around the kitchen doing the math and maybe try to find out what are the ways how we can make the payment via maybe an EMI or a loan feature.
Yeah, it's not just 2 lakhs means any kind of considerable amount that fees that they have. Definitely, it's a very hard decision to make. And I think that is where institutions can actually lose them because you have the intent of the candidate in the parent, but that ability makes them delayed.
That's right. So with Calexo EMI, we offer instant EMI options along with our NBFC partners, which are even the market leaders like Propel and Greyquest, providing multiple EMI options like starting from a 3 months, 6 months, 9 to 12, up to 24 months plans. So the options are there right on the checkout page where they are able to see all the online, offline, and now the EMI options as well. They don't need to visit a bank. They don't need to fill a physical form. And at a single place, they are letting all of these things, whether online, offline, or any EMI option at one place, even providing the real-time updates to the candidate in terms of their communication on their SMS, email, and WhatsApp. Plus, the receipts are generated on a real-time basis, as well as the institution also gets the tracking on payments, application, and even the loan disbursals. In fact, it empowers the institution to collect the full upfront fee on day one, while the student is paying in monthly easy EMI options.
So, Rishabh, you are saying that the college is getting the amount instantly.
Yes, Ritika, that's right. So the college gets the full amount immediately. The risk is managed by our lenders. It's a win-win situation for both. We have seen the institutions now recovering 15 to 20% of their lost admissions just by enabling this feature. Next, we realize that clients are going global as well. So if you are engaging students from Africa, Nepal, Middle East, you can't just offer UPI. Obviously, we have expanded our payment network. Now we have localized gateways spanning in multiple regions. So whether it's Paystack for Nigeria, CC Avenue for UAE, and even Stripe for rest of the world, we ensure the payment experience is smooth, local, and familiar to the international parent. Then, for our schools and colleges with our monthly fees, we have introduced recurring payments.
Wait. Recurring fees or payments actually, kind of reminds me of all those subscription model business like the Netflix model.
Correct. That's right. That's totally right. So collecting monthly fees used to mean sending thousand reminders, emails, and even chasing the parent manually. But now you can collect multiple installments or a recurring fee, as we say, with just a few clicks. Even if now the catch is that as a candidate, if I want to pay my first and my third installment together, ignoring the second one, I can do that by selecting it and putting in a cart like thing.
Hmm.
So, Rishabh, one thing that or if I talk about all the people who have joined the webinar, especially the operations team, they are going to love, or even the sales team, they are going to love dynamic pricing.
Definitely. That's totally right, Ritika. So configure discounts from the application fees. In past, fee logic was hard-coded. Now Calexo talks directly to Meritto application form. If a student selects, let's say, program MBA, location Delhi, category Meritto Scholar, Calexo automatically calculates that fee. It applies the right discount on the logic, on the live data, and even in the form.
Hmm. So basically, we are not kind of doing any kind of manual adjustments here or refund requests because maybe it happens that the student paid the wrong amount.
Zero. That's totally right. The system ensures that they can only pay what they owe. And for the IT heads watching, Calexo webhooks. We know Calexo isn't only your system. You have an ERP, a student management system, maybe an accounting system like Tally. So Calexo now pushes both the payment and the settlement data by date, by transaction ID, directly to your partner systems in a real-time basis. It closes the reconciliation loop instantly. So now coming to the next part, that we have solved the online payments with EMI and localized gateways. But what happens when the student actually steps onto the campus? That brings us to Calexo Pixie. And I want to be clear, this just isn't a plastic ID card with a photo on it. It's a complete campus operating system.
Campus operating system. Very, very big words claim here, Rishabh.
That's totally right. And here it is why. So think about a student experience today. They carry an ID card for an entry, cash for the canteen, even a bus pass for the transit, maybe a separate library card. So that journey is all fragmented. Pixie now unifies it all. It connects the student experience layer with the institution operations layer. How? So let me just tell you that. Imagine a student, let's call her Ritika. She walks into the campus, taps her Pixie card at the campus gates for access. It verifies her identity card. She goes to the library further, taps again to check out for a book. Then she hops onto the university shuttle. Instead of fumbling for the change, she taps her card, not for, and the balance will be deducted from a transit balance, not only for the bus, but even all the 17 metros across all over India. Finally, she goes to the cafeteria. She doesn't need cash. She taps her card to pay for a lunch from a prepaid wallet. She can do that. So, this is just actually a student companion within the campus and even beyond for any online and off campus payments.
That's an incredible convenience, Rishabh. It's like a closed economy loop.
Exactly, Ritika. So, and even for the institution, benefits are massive. So, firstly, let's say a no cash risk. You don't have to handle cash and having maybe a risk of losing it and the canteen or the stationery shop. You get the real time data. You see exactly where the students are spending now and what services they are actually using. Then there are instant top ups. Parents can actually top up the student wallet remotely via the Pixie app. They know that the money is used on the campus, not somewhere else. So they have a full control over it. And that brings me to the amazing feature for those who don't have a boom barriers or the flat gate infrastructures in their campus. And for those, we bring the QR authentication. So with a single scan at the gate or at a library or at any lab or even a classroom, with just a quick QR scan, it will verify the student identity and even their status. Much to my surprise, we have seen this feature used by some coaching institutes wisely. So they have multiple branches, right? And the tutors there might not know about the fee payment of the student. So they cannot connect the class entry eligibility with the student identity status. But by managing it from the backend with just a single QR scan of the student identity card, that is the Pixie card, they would instantly know that whether a candidate has paid the money or not. They can be reminded for the same further.
What about security here, Rishabh? Like issuing this card used to be a pain, and is it even secure?
We fixed that too, Ritika. So the Pixie app handles the entire life cycle. A student downloads the app, completes a video KYC on their phone, and then their digital wallet is activated with a limit up to 2 lakhs. They can lock the card instantly if they have lost it, reset their PIN, view every transaction on real time. It's actually a banking grade security for your campus.
Rishabh, I just love the payment concept. Gamifying the fees is brilliant. But everything we discussed today, from Soam's AI to agentic calling to your Pixie card handling payments to the teams managing the qualified leads, converting them to enroll, and all the rest of the functionality that we discussed throughout, there is one invisible foundation.
Yes. So I think we have talked a lot about the three P's. We have talked about prospecting, we have talked about personalization, we have talked about payments. But again, there is also another one, that is security. And that is why we are also want to talk about something regarding that. And definitely it actually, completely hinges on one particular word, and that is trust. Rishabh, I think we can actually move to the next slide.
Right. So Here we are bringing you to Meritto Secure. We know that as your enrollment grows, your risk surface also grows. One data breach, one compromised account, and years of reputation falls and it goes into vanish. That's why this year we introduce a comprehensive upgrade to our applicant authentication settings. We are giving institutions greater control, stronger security, and improved compliance.
And Ritika, this isn't just the backend stuff, right? This impacts how applicants log in every day.
Absolutely, Rishabh. That's like 100% true. Let's talk about the very first line of defense, that is password policy. So, in the past, you had a standard policy which was there present at the back end, right? But now institutions can configure password policies across the three, four distinct levels that we have provided. We have low, medium, high, and custom. So,
So,
mhm,
so means, for example, if I'm in a high security institution, so can I force kind of a high setting, means kind of a high protection for myself?
absolutely, yes, you can. So you can customize the rules as per your own wish. So, for example, if you want to have rules like minimum character length, mixed cases, or special characters, some number validation, so you can go up to n level of complexities that you want for your password to be more strengthened. Even if you want the applicant not to repeat the last three password that they might have entered or changed, you can do that as well. And also, if you want every student to have a 12 character password with a particular symbol, you can enforce globally throughout your institutions with just one click.
But Ritika, I believe that's a huge remark for compliance because the passwords can be stolen.
Which brings me to the second massive update, that is two factor authentication for applicants. We have strengthened the login by introducing both email based and mobile based two factor authentication settings, so that now when a student is logging in, especially from a new device, they are encompassed and need to verify their identity with either the OTP sent to their email or through phones.
Okay, I get it. So that basically kills the risk of credential theft. Even if a hacker has the password, they can't get in without the phone, right?
Exactly. We don't stop there. We also improve the reset password and multi factor authentication experiences. We made the flow smoother so that high security doesn't mean high friction for the applicant. A student can reset their password securely without even needing to call your help desk.
Yes. So the way I actually see this is defense in depth. So basically, from access control for your staff to ISO certifications for our infrastructures, and also now 2FA and multi-factor authentication for your students.
Right. Whether it's masking a student phone number so that the counselor cannot call without seeing the digits, or even ensuring a student payment data is encrypted, every journey, every footprint of the institution and their data is protected, private, and completely yours.
Hmm, incredible. So basically, I think we can have a little recap here. So thinking about the past discussions that we had today, we of course started with the first P, that is organizing the chaos with prospects, that actually gives you visibility into the funnel. Then from there, we actually move to the second P that we call as personalization, where we actually had tools like AI, automation, and others, which actually try to guide students with relevance and context. And finally, as we had discussed recently, that is, we closed all these things with payments. That is our third P. So that is making the transaction, that is the fees, flexible and rewarding in nature. And finally, we completely secured it with our Meritto Secure.
Right. So it's not just a set of feature; it's a complete operating system for the enrollment growth.
Absolutely. So we have covered almost all the ground areas. We have logged all the three Ps. We have talked about everything for what all of these institutions need for 2026. So I guess it's time for the Q&A, and the Q&A is open. I see if there are attendees, they can put down their questions, and we are all here to answer that.
Yeah. So definitely we can take some questions, and definitely everyone who has actually logged in today for this webinar, thank you so much. It was actually really, really interesting and insightful to interact with you all. And definitely one more thing is that before we start with our Q&A is that we have this particular webinars tuned for 22nd January, where we'll be actually talking about voice AI agents and how it is actually transforming the educational landscape. So definitely stay tuned for it. Okay, I guess we can have some questions here now. Okay, so I have got a question is, what kind of agents do we have in Mio Voice? So currently, definitely, we have two agents. That is, one is the lead qualification agent and lead reactivation agent. So these two specific agents do two specific jobs. Lead qualification is basically when your lead has actually firstly registered into your system and you want to actually determine whether they're actually interested and qualified to proceed ahead with your lead funnel. Then this is something that you can actually employ. Means you have raw leads, set of leads, and you want to do a campaign calling. So definitely you can go ahead with lead qualification. Lead reactivation is nothing but any kind of old leads that you had who you were not able to engage before, but you want to reactivate them. So you can actually use those agents that will actually try to gauge whether they do have an interest again for that particular program or institution or not. So you can go ahead with that.
All these features that you mentioned is a part of basic Meritto platform. So most of the prospecting for to answer, each of us can take up in the different arenas that we have covered so far. Regarding the prospecting, the custom user fields and the basic password policy, the campaign grouping, all of this come under your basic Meritto platform. We have offered it for you to nurture better for leads, so that comes under the basic. Regarding Calexo, Pixie, and agentic AI that we have, Som and Rishabh can take that up as a answer. Do they have an add-on cost, or how does, whether they are offered in the basic plan or not?
Answer yes. From Calexo's perspective, we treat these as a different product, although there is a very tight integration between Meritto, Calexo, even Meritto to Mio AI agent. But Calexo and Meritto go standalone as well as a hand in hand with a tight integration data push flow. So definitely the commercials are different for both the products. Coming to the Mio AI, Som, if you can help me out.
Yes, yes. So definitely means Mio AI will be actually not coming with the base, means all the plans. It's kind of an add-on where you actually subscribe to it separately, and definitely it has its own costing. So you definitely can actually reach out to your account managers to get more information regarding how the costing is. So basically, we do have separate costing for both Mio Voice and Mio Guide.
Right.
Yeah.
If there's anybody else having any other questions for the topics that we have covered so far.
Yeah, I can see one question here is that what kind of guardrails do you have in Mio Guide? So yes, means talking about the chat platforms, chat means the Mio Guide chat and also Mio Voice. We do have separate guardrails in place that actually define the scope of how the agent will interact with your leads. Okay, so basically we do have separate guardrails to maintain that they are only getting trained on a specific institution's knowledge base and brain, and that they do not have to answer or compare that particular institution with other institutions. And apart from that, we do also have various irrelevant queries that come up during a conversation like politics, any kind of other harmful substances or something. So we do have controls over that also. So we have defined specific guardrails for each and every section so that the Mio is actually just acting as the kind of a counselor agent or anything uh, as per your demand. So there is a question, I guess, is there a reseller program or agent program I can participate in, for example, Southeast Asia? If it is possible, you can just kind of elaborate on this. Means what kind of vendor, means
Is
kind of
there
a agent
a
program or
reseller program or agent program in can I can participate in, for example, South Asia reseller program? Leo, can you please elaborate this one regarding what do you precisely mean by reseller program? I want to be a reseller of your platform. Okay.
okay. Currently I means
It is,
actually,
yes,
uh,
so you can go ahead.
yeah, currently I think it is not currently part of this product. What's your take on this, Rishabh and Ritika?
Asking about the partnership.
A partnership program, right?
Yeah, so definitely you need to connect with our sales team, and that's where our team can further help you out.
Yeah, definitely. You can actually connect with your account manager, they can actually guide you more on which specific module or any kind of product or feature that you want to be act as a reseller, and definitely you can actually have a discussion. I guess you are done with all the queries here. So yes, I guess this is we have come to the end. Thank you all so much for signing up and
Thank you
logging to
so
this
much.
webinar. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Everyone.
Great day.
Thanks a lot for
Thank
this
you.
good session, Som and Ritika.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rishabh.